staff, media, and all those who are listening in at home, and in the audience. Welcome to the council meeting of Wednesday, the 5th of March, and we'll call for apologies. All here, so there is none. Item number 2, extraordinary business. Any items of extraordinary business today? I know of none. There is none. Item number 3 is declarations of interest in today's meeting. There's none. Thank you. So we'll have the public forum first, and we have Darren Hall, General Manager of Cholmondeley Children's Centre, and we'll invite Darrell to come up and speak to us for 5 minutes, and then councillors may ask questions of clarification. Welcome, Darrell. The floor is yours.
Kia ora, and thank you, Mayor Brown and councillors. I'm Darel Hall, the new General Manager at the Cholmondeley Children's Centre, based at Governor's Bay in Littleton Harbour, where I stayed 3 times myself as a child in the 1970s. I hasten to add I'm here to offer support, not ask for money. I'm before you today is through you, as representatives of the Ashburton district. I want to thank the people, volunteers, businesses and donors of Ashburton for their support for Cholmondeley children. Cholmondeley is a service that belongs to the people of Canterbury and draws support throughout Canterbury and will continue as long as the people of Canterbury want this service. So, Cholmondeley provides free, short-term, planned and emergency respite care for children aged 5 to 12 in Canterbury. We've provided this service since 1925. We are 100 this Friday. We take about 350 children a year for multiple visits, and in the last 2 years we've cared for 25 children from 4 Ashburton district schools. I think we can do better for your people and for your children. Children stay at the centre in times of family stress or crisis when they need to have some time away from home. So it includes single parents without support at times of illness, family breakups, grandparents looking after children, parents needing time out to cope with mental health challenges. We fill niches that allow for difficult times to be managed rather than escalated. We're at the top of the cliff helping children and their families keep it together instead of being at the bottom trying to pick up the pieces. When children stay at Cholmondeley, they get 24/7 support made up of structured social interactions and learning, outdoor activities, sleep, hygiene and meal times, and no devices, none at all. Good basics for children, and I think any parent will know that last bit about devices, very hard to do. Our respite service gives families time to breathe and make better decisions for their future. Children get new experiences, life skills and education, so that whānau and their children are set to thrive. So it costs about $3 million a year to run, with 80% coming from our community, trusts and grants, donations, events all over Canterbury, including the generous people of Ashburton, and the government kicks in the other 20%. People do not need to be referred to our service. People can call. They can visit to see if what we offer meets their needs. So lastly, through you, I want to remind the people of Ashburton that we are a free service available for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell, for giving us the overview of Cholmondeley Children's Centre and being sponsor there. We've got some questions from councillors. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I didn't realise you're 100 years this Friday. That's wonderful. What about 13-year-olds to 15-year-olds? Where do they go in Canterbury? Like, they're still young people. Who looks after that age group?
That's a gap in the services available in the whole of New Zealand, actually. If you've got a very stressed and fractured 13 to 15-year-old, there are services available to them, but not for the kind of preventative, keeping things together type service we provide. We provide outreach services for that 13 to 15-year-old age group. So you've got children that are in quite stressed families, and we've got a separate service that we provide for them, but not that preventative type. But we are looking at it in our next business plan to try and think about what we can do. Actually, probably starting with boys aged 13 to 15.
Okay. Because you think, there might be a family of 4 and they might go 15, 11, 9, 7 or something. So the older person has to be separated from their siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sad, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you.
It's food for thought. Councillor Miller.
Thank you. My question was going to be similar, but how long can the children stay with you? at the centre? Is there a sort of a maximum time?
No, what we do is so it's structured planned respite. So the children will stay with us for 3 days in a period, about every 6 to 8 weeks. So you get 6 or so times a year, and that's so they maintain their primary connection with their school, because that's got to work first. So we have to support that school relationship. So that's what we do. That's why we're structured this way.
Thank you. And you said they don't need to be referred, but how do people, so will a school get in contact with you? And I guess we've got a lot of different agencies in Ashburton that would also give you a call. Is that how it works?
The people will get referred by their GPs, oranga tamariki, their schools, all kinds of people. In my case, it's almost 50 years ago, my mother just rang Cholmondeley and got me placed. And that's where most of our referrals come from, actually, is people checking us out for themselves and going, well, will this work for us or not? Have that conversation and then see what works for them.
Thank you, and congratulations on your 100 years.
Councillor Ellis?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the work you do. So with it being respite care, and then say someone from Ashburton gets referred there but needs to come back here to get their schooling during the week, do you get other agencies involved to help with that transport and that sort of thing? Because that will be another hindrance for that.
That is a key issue, and we had some Ministry of Education people through on Monday, and the South Canterbury representative talked about that being an issue where there have been some transport services that have been reduced. So what we will see is if they're connected with a social worker, the social worker might drop them off. So we run bus services, if you like, from Metropolitan Christchurch, Hallswell in this case. So if we can get them to Hallswell, we can get them across the hill to Governor's Bay. But it is an issue, yes.
And secondly, if that's right, do you find your service works better when someone phones and asks for help than those referrals you may get from agencies? Because sometimes when you get a referral, you nearly are the ambulance at the bottom, whereas when the phone call comes, sometimes that extra bit of hope, I suppose, is there, and you're on top of the cliff preventing those other calamities. So
I don't think that makes a difference, because we have a structured introduction of the child to the service. So we need to make sure that the child wants to be there and get something out of it. So it might be a visit. They might stay for a day and a night if they can. They might stay for a night. So it might take them 2 months to acclimatise, to go, yep, okay, I want to be here, this will work. So I don't think the starting point doesn't seem to matter so much. But yeah, I understand what you're saying there.
So what's the capacity of the facility?
So we have usually between 15 and 19 children. So we have 2 intakes a week. And the number of children is dependent on the needs of the child. So we run a staff, run a child to staff ratio around at 3.5 children per staff member, which is so there's a lot of attention. But you will get children that have extremely high needs, and so we need to run fewer children or more staff. And so I left the practice discussion this morning where they were discussing exactly which child was coming, because we talked to the schools and the parents and any agencies involved, and we get to know the child before they land, so we can construct an experience that will work for everyone.
Yep. Councillor Todd.
Thank you. What sort of funding do you have to raise each year to do what you do? Basically, like I presume you've got lotteries and all those sort of guys, but how much does it actually take to do what you do?
So we raise about $2.5 million a year, and so, for example, there are contributions from trusts and grants in the Ashburton district that make contributions, as there are throughout Canterbury. And so we cobble all that together, as most charitable organisations do, a little bit from the Ministry of Education, a little bit from Oranga Tamariki, and within all that, it works out. I mean, most charities are under stress at the moment, but that's not the point of this. This is really just to make sure that, and I've been to other places to say, make sure that people understand that we're a Canterbury service, because that can get a bit lost in translation sometimes.
Councillor Hooper.
Thank you. Hi, Darel. Thanks for your presentation. how's trends looking? I understand you've got a cap on how many you can have at any one time, but people waiting and waiting lists wise over say 10 or 20 years, are you trending up with people wanting to use your service? How's that all looking?
Yeah, that's the internal issue, isn't it? So if you start talking about your service, do you push up demand beyond what you can service? And I get asked about that all the time, and it's true. But for me, I want to make sure that we are doing well for all of Canterbury, not just parts of metropolitan Christchurch. In fact, the Waimakariri district does very well from us, but we underserve probably Ashburton and Selwyn a bit, and a little bit of West Christchurch. So we've got to get that balance right. So we're running a waiting list of about 3 months at the moment, which isn't too bad, because remember, we're not an emergency. We do take emergency cases, but we're not an emergency service. But because of the freedom of not being so much government, so that's the other side of it. If you're less funded by government, you have less requirements to meet from their criteria. So we can go up to the top of the cliff a bit more and spend more time there.
People are more not accepting, but willing to talk about mental health and things like that now. So have you seen a flow-on effect from parents saying, look, I'm not doing well mentally, I need some help with my kids? Have you found a trend there?
I'll say yes from my experience, and I'm sure you have come across this as well. So I used to work in student accommodation at the University of Canterbury, and it was really, this is only about 15 years ago, and then running the Student Association down at Otago University. The openness about mental health problems, autism, conditions as well as problems is so much higher than it was even 25 years ago. And so I find that parents are open about these matters. There's almost no stigma attached to it. ADHD, whatever the diagnosis is, that seems to be fairly open to me, and I hope that's your experience too.
Thank you, Darel. There's no further questions, and thank you for offering this valuable service that you do offer, and it's been going for a long time, and as you said, it's your 100th birthday on Friday. Well done. I'm not sure if you get a card from the King or not, but fingers crossed you may. But thank you on behalf of Ashburton District for what you do, and wider Canterbury as well. We all appreciate it. Thank you very much. Councillors, next item is on page 3, item number 4. It's the minutes, and we'll take them as being read and confirmed once we look at page 3 and 4 and 5 to see that they are accurate. But the sense of that they are, so is there a mover and a seconder for that, please? Councillor McMillan, Councillor Cameron. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Next item is the receipt of minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee, which was held on the 12th of February 2025. Someone like to move and second that we receive them? Councillor Ellis, Councillor Cameron. All in favour, please say aye. Any discussion on those minutes? No. We'll move over to page 8, item number 6, Three Waters Committee for the 12th of February. And we need a move and a second that we received them. Councillor Hooper moved, Councillor Todd seconded. Put the motion, all in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. To receive. Any discussion on those minutes? Councillor Cameron.
Thank you. I wasn't at the meeting. When I look at the the delay, when I look at the final section of the agenda today, and is there an increase in costs associated with the delay of the UV filters? You know, there's a supply chain concern there. Is that going to cost additional dollars?
Yeah.
Through the chair, no, there isn't.
So no additional purchase price and no additional installation costs and things?
No.
Great, thanks, Nick.
And I note there also that the North East Ashburton Water main extension is the work's been prepared, the engineering plan's been prepared, and we'll get there at our next meeting to discuss, which would be great. Councillor Cameron.
And this is incidental and not at the committee. Can I ask another question with regards to water?
On these minutes, yeah.
No.
On the well, is it probably best to hold to the Three Waters Committee, because we're not making a decision here, we're just receiving these.
No, this is just a question.
Okay, we could take it at the Three Waters Committee meeting when we meet next, which will be every 6 weeks we meet, I think. 26th of March. Hold that question for then, Councillor Cameron. Thank you. Tanakwe. Item number 7, that's moved and seconded. Item number 7, the reports are Triennial Elections 2025, order of candidates' names. Tony, welcome. Any further to add to the report?
Nothing further to add, thank you.
Questions, councillors? Councillor Hooper.
Thank you. The recommended random order candidate names, is there any chance of that being open for mistakes? As in, because it's random each and every one, so rather than just one set block in alphabetical order printed off X amount of times, you know what I mean?
Thank you. That's certainly something I've never heard of. I don't have the technical knowledge of how it's programmed, but the program, once it inserts all of the correct names, and that's thoroughly checked. Once it's in the system, it's the system that distributes the names on the papers. So providing that the data that's input into the system is correct, and that is each of the qualified nominations, then all will be fine. Yep.
Councillor Cameron.
Just a quick, I should know it and I don't. When you do the book, the wee booklet with the little bio for the candidates, that's random in the book, is that correct?
You might go now.
Sorry. No, it's actually alphabetical.
Oh,
so
the book's
there
alphabetical.
is, yes, and the electoral officer will put that together in a completely different system. So
Oh, right.
it's not.
And so the names on the forms are random, not the book.
That's right. It's just the ballot papers, and some people don't provide candidate profile statements, and therefore won't appear in the candidate book. It's supplementary information, as opposed.
Councillor McMillan.
Thank you. Through the chair, we have had the random version for quite a few elections, haven't we? Have we ever had it in alphabetical order?
Not that I recall. I think it was the 2001, the Act changed that 2004. So since 2004, Ashburton has run on the random order, and increasingly other councils around New Zealand have moved that way too, although there are also some increases in STV.
I'll move the recommendation then.
I'd just like to read it, please. I'll read the recommendation that the names of the candidates for the 2025 Ashburton District Council triennial elections and any subsequent by-elections be arranged on the ballot paper in random order. Moved by Councillor McMillan and seconded by Councillor Lovett. Open for debate, discussion. Councillor Wilson.
Yes, as a person who has suffered their whole lives through the indignity of being left to be last as a W, and in this council the last one off the rack, I think it's a great idea because it does make people have a think when they put their tick down rather than just look for someone like Brown at the top or Brahm at the top or Cameron at the top or someone like that.
I believe I've heard that speech before. From a different generation. No further debate for or against. I'll put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Next item is number 8, road closure, Ashburton Car Club sealed autocross event. Welcome, Mark. Anything further to add to your report?
No, nothing to add. Thank you.
Questions, councillors? Councillor Wilson.
Does it damage the road surface at all?
It hasn't been, no. On this sealed one, it's an autocross, so it's not sort of a high-level vehicles, things like that. But and even unsealed roads are easily repaired, so we haven't got a history of any damage. Yeah.
Councillor Cameron.
If they do require repair, who repairs them?
The applicant have to repair them, so
Right.
we'll get it done and then invoice them for it. But we haven't got a history of that either. So,
No. things.
We generally coincide on unsealed roads, maintenance grade. This is on a sealed road, so, yeah.
I think at the last road closure we had, one of the councillors asked could we have some information on how many people turn up at the event and participate? Could we gather that information?
Yeah, and we requested for the previous event. We haven't had any information back yet, so but we requested of the applicants once it goes through. So, yeah.
Thanks. There's a recommendation there. Who'd like to move? Councillor Ellis moved. Councillor Todd seconded. Open for debate. You gentlemen. Being no debate, I'll put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Next item is the financial report. Welcome, Erin. So we'll go through the report first and then we'll adopt it or receive it. Page number 25. Page 26. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you. I've been nagging about the income. The operating income of 52.19 million, is that rates or is that rates and fees and charges and everything?
That's all the income for the every activity. So it'll be rates, fees and charges, any other charges.
Do we have, so the fees and charges are separate down here on page 26, is that right? So we can separate out the rates as 31 million, fees and charges.
That's correct.
Thank you.
The other major item of operating income is, of course, subsidy.
Subsidy.
For roading mainly. Roading mainly, yeah. Just at the top of the full year revised budget, Erin, I think the question was asked last time, a revised budget means that the carryovers have been added in. Is that all that's gone into a revised budget?
That's correct.
Thank you. Page 27, transportation. 28 and 9. Page 30, 31. 32, 33. 34, 35. 36, 37. I just note community safety on 37 is up at 80% spent for the year, but we haven't got to 80% of the way through the year. Is it a timing thing or is it something to be alluded to? Not big numbers though, but...
We'll have a look and see what that's actually, why that's up so high.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. And report back, that would be great. Page 38, 39. Councillor Hooper.
Thank you. I was just wondering, the Memorial Halls cover insurance-wise, do we need to have a look at that at all? Or is it what it is and we've just got to suck it up?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in the year we're in, there's very little we can do about it because the cost is the cost and the commitments to those halls is what it is. The opportunity to revisit it as an unsustainable match is through the next budget round.
Thank you.
That we have 5 memorial halls and council owns them and council insures them for replacement value. We have lots of other halls which are not necessarily owned by council, which we have an indemnity insurance on. And if the local communities want to insure them for full replacement, then they top that up. But memorial halls we do. Yeah. 39, page 40, 41.
Sorry, Neil.
Carolyn.
Page 39, please. Economic Development Income and Expenditure Report. Commercial property income is not a permanent variance, and we're 41% to revised budget, and I'm assuming that's because there's sales pending or something's going to happen. When I go down to operating expenditure, it is a permanent variance, and I don't understand why that is. What's our expenditure other than staff and mowing and fencing and stuff and commercial property? Is that forestry? Is that is that like what's?
So on page 40, there's an explanation that
Yeah.
states that it's to do with the insurance costs, the increase in insurance.
So when I look at it, is the insurance been paid? I think we just.
Yes, it has been. It's just pointing it out early that there will be a permanent variance at year end. By the time we get there, there'll be a.
Well, there won't be a $3 million permanent variance.
No, but that's the figure that's reported as at the 31st of January
Yeah.
against full year budget.
So we don't know what the permanent variance will be yet.
The manager's signalling that they know that there's a permanent variance of that insurance above the budgeted level. So they're signalling that early rather than surprising
So
later.
far, because it sort of implies in this document that so far there's a $3 million variance, but it's actually there won't be a $3 million like the insurance hasn't got $3 million for commercial property.
The $3 million is just true at a moment in time.
Yeah, that's right. As I understood it. Yeah.
What this information is, though, is signalling that, and on page 40,
Yeah, the next page.
is that there's at least 290k that's going
Yeah.
to be permanent because of insurance costs, but that is offset by some favourable variances of 120k due to reduced commissions payable at their business estate. So what we're trying to give you
what
is
does that stand for? ABE?
Ashburton Business Estate.
Oh, okay, sure.
So what we're trying to signal is that yes, there is going to be some permanent variance. Some are under, some are over.
Yeah, sure.
Not quite sure where that all.
So we just got to wait
land.
till the end of the year and just see where that lies.
Yeah, but we're signalling there is going to be some permanent variance.
Thank you. And how will that be dealt with? That'll just come out of the. How will that be dealt with in terms of, like, where does the money come for that permanent variance?
Oh well, it's the commercial property
We just-
account is
yeah.
Full of unders and overs associated with
So
property
they'll
and goes into
sort
the
it out.
property reserve or comes out of the property reserve. to match.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
See, we're not going to harvest forestry this year. Can we just have a memo as to why we're not? Because earlier we were told it's going to be late and now it's not. So can an update, not today, but...
Yes, we can do that. I had felt that the property manager had given an explanation for that relatively recently, but I'll just refresh my recollection of that and recirculate it or circulate it.
My recollection could be wrong, but I thought it was going to happen, but later, but delayed. There's not happen. Yeah.
No, but I think the delay was beyond 30 June, so for this financial year, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Anyway, I will recirculate that information.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Page 41. Parks and open spaces. 42 and 43. Page 44, 45. 46, 47. 48, 49. 50, 51. You having joy getting some of the overdues?
It's definitely making a difference with some of the new policies we've put in place.
Right. 52, yeah, 52. No further questions on page 22. Oh, Russell.
Sorry, thank you. Just under borrowing, I see we've got one there. It's only a small amount for camping, but why do we have a loan for? Did we upgrade one of the facilities and borrow some money to do something, or?
I'd need to look into that because I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Seems an odd one.
So there's a couple of things there to come back with us on answers to two or three. So there's a recommendation that Council receives the January 2025 Financial Variance Report. Mover and seconder, Councillor Todd, Councillor Hooper. All in favour, please say aye. Carried. Thank you. Well, that takes us to the end of the open part of the meeting. Making good time. Mover in a second now that we move into committee. Councillor Cameron, Councillor Brown. All those in favour, please say aye. Carried. Thank you. Thank you, John.